Hello everyone, I'm Sudeepthi Dondapati. You're with me for another session, TCS Verbal Ability Model Questions Part 3. Hope you are practicing the questions we've been discussing all these days. Until and unless you practice these grammatical questions, you won't be able to attain the perfection. I wouldn't say that you should be 100% accurate when you write English, but what I would say is at least you should be able to recognize and identify the pattern, and you should be able to use them in your practice writing whenever you make use of this English in your circumstances, whether you write a letter or whether you write a paragraph, whether you are coming up with an essay, whatever it is, anything in written form. If you can really make use of these grammatical rules and regulations, definitely you will sound properly, right? Because it's difficult to recall the rule all the time. That is why I'm trying to help you with the context and then the structure you can use in that context. Instead of explaining you why the rule is framed as such, I'm trying to give you the rule or the structure to be used in the situation. So try to understand it carefully so that you will avoid making grammatical errors. Right? Let's get started. We are continuing with the questions that we've started. So question number 21. What is this question about? The question doesn't say whether there's an error or not, whether there is some kind of appropriate answer provided to it, but it is very clear and transparent that the question has 4 options and you have to choose the right option just to be fit into the context, to be fit into the sentence, in the blank. The train arrived time. Whether will you be using the train arrived after time, or the train arrived by time, or the train arrived at time, the train arrived on time? What's that? What's that actually? That is very important for you. And my dear students, you should remember that these prepositions to, for, at, on, in, these are very tiny grammar elements or particles, I would say. Not PRTICL is grammar particle, but I am trying to say that these are small, pretty words which will really trouble you. It's like, shall I give you an example? When I say, I invite my friend to the party or for the party, how do you decide on the preposition? The question is like this. It's like, you are talking about the direction that I have given this pen to my friend who is sitting over there. But when I say, I bought this pen for my friend, now what is the distinction between? When I say I'm trying to, talk about the direction, at the same time, who is the object? To whom did I give the pen? So that is a sense of the first case, the giving to someone. When I say for is related to purpose. I bought this rose for my wife. When I say this, I bought this flower for my friend. I bought this beautiful bag for my friend. When I say for her, right, for the sake of someone. So in that case, for the function, when you are using purpose or for the function of something, effective use of this for is very much in practice. Right here in this context, whether to use to, invited to the party or for the party, right? Let me bring in that question again and again so that you'll be reminded of the rules. So when you say I'm invited for the party or invited to the party, what is the object and what is that? To which place are you invited? I've been invited to party, right? To the party of my friend that my friend is offering. So obviously you take the preposition to. But here, the train arrived after time, by time, at time, on time. All these are interconnected. All these are interrelated. How do you know? When you say after time, what is after? Are you signaling that the train hasn't arrived in time and that is why it came after some time? Here, the sense of the sentences not to inform you whether it has come before or after, but whether it has come after 10 o'clock or after 5 o'clock. But the sense here is the subject here should agree. I'm not talking about the subject and verb agreement, but here the context of the sentence should take the appropriate preposition, right? So you cannot say after, because you are not talking about whether it has come after or before. You are talking about what is that time around, the train has come. Again, I'm not particularly talking about the time that is 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, but generally when I use this time, what is a preposition? I'm talking about the dependence with the subject and the preposition. Now when I say the train arrived by time, when do you use the preposition by? You say by way of doing something, okay? So by way of doing something, okay, by means of that commodity, by means of that game, okay, because of that. And I try to see it is the only thing by which I can do it, or means of doing something. Okay, so when I say when I say I'm depending everything, like for everything she's dependent on someone. Okay, when she's relying on someone, you can say it is by her support, or you can say by her word I'm able to stand, trusting solely, taking that as accountability. You can take this preposition by. And so now you are talking about the preposition which you can use whether before or within the time. So obviously based on the option at. When I say at always talks about the specific time. When I say the train arrived at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So I'm not talking about the specific time, but I'm talking about the time during the arrival of my time, whether in time or on time, whether it is approximately or whether it is accurately. It is about the nearness or the proximity or the relativity of this time and the preposition. Now when I say the train arrived on time, so do you want me to explain you that on time and in time is to do with the accurate time? When let me make it very clear that at and on and in. When I say on, it is exactly without any exception. When she's on time, Mr. Raju gave his presentation, and for that he had to come on time exactly. When I say in time, that is within the time. When I say the meeting is at 5 o'clock, I say he's in time. That means just before 5 o'clock also, within the time. Maybe at 4:45, maybe at 4:50. But when I say he's on time, it's exactly on that time. So by sharply on at 5 o'clock, that person is there. So that is the sense of using this preposition on and in accurately, not before or after, on time, right? And in, if you say within that, means 5 o'clock train, you can come at 4:30, 4:40, but not after time, after 5 o'clock. That is the sense. Right. One part of the sentence below contain error. Again, you have to fill in the sentences. Fill in the blanks with the options given, the accurate sentences. All the students of the class decided to head to the principal's office to complain for the new teacher's misconduct. All the students of the class decided to head to the principal's office to complain for the new teacher's misconduct. So now what is right? What is so wrong there? Like you are choosing the right one accurate here. It's like you will fill the blank there, though the blank is not physical here, you will try to replace the wrong structure with the right structure. So what is that you are doing? You are doing error identification. You are trying to identify the error. Now the students, what did they do? They decided to head to the principal's, go to the principal's office to do what? To complain regarding. Now the question is regarding for the new teacher's misconduct. What is this misconduct? It's her behavior. Okay, so misconduct doesn't mean that it is a conduction of something. Conducting yourself is different from conduct. You say you receive a conduct certificate by the end of your course. That means a certificate on your personality and character. When I say conduct yourself properly, when I say that, it's like it is used as the verb there. That is conducting yourself, action form. So that is a sense here. And now what is wrong here? To head to the principal's office. To head to the principal's office means like you go to the principal's office. There's nothing wrong. And even apostrophe S is not wrong. It is whose office? It is principal's office, obviously. When you talk about the possession of something, somebody possesses that, right? She possesses that. And for that reason, you will use this apostrophe. She went to her friend's room, or somebody else's class, or somebody else's place. So that is the context, right? And next, all the students of the class decided. It's not wrong. So, and somebody decides something, that is like their decision, and all the students of that particular class decided, and there's no grammatical error here. So you don't have to find any wrong with this phrase either. Next, option C, to complain for the new teacher's misconduct. Now, here lies the problem. What is that? To complain for the new teachers. Now, you will not complain for somebody else's misconduct, but you will complain about their misconduct. So here you have to make use of this preposition, about someone. She's creating many problems. So I'll go and complain about her misdeeds. So in that context, you make use of about, but not for. Obviously, you have to select the option C because it has the error there. Next question. Again, the paragraph is given. S1 and S4 are given. You have to fill in these gaps with S2 and S3 from the options given P, Q, and R. Now, let's see the first introductory paragraph. Now, what is the rule you have to apply? You have to understand every introductory paragraph. Now, what is that you should be doing that I have suggested? You should be writing each theme for every paragraph of each paragraph, right? You have to say that S1 has this theme, S4 has this theme. Now you write the theme and see the connectivity, see the connection. So that is what you have to do. Now look at the first one. The color of the ocean is due to the absorption and scattering of the sunlight. The color of the ocean is due to the absorption and scattering of the sunlight. Now we are talking about how this color is established and how it is formed, and now the process, what is that? Now the color of the ocean is due to the absorption and scattering of the sunlight. Now the S4 has this water now scatters both blue and yellow light, producing the characteristic green color of the Atlantic Ocean. This water now scatters both blue and yellow. It scatters both colors, producing it emits something, producing the characteristic, the product, the feature of something, what green color of this Atlantic Ocean. Now, what will be the continuity here? P. When sunlight strikes the water, the red wavelength is absorbed and blue wavelength is scattered, making the ocean appear blue. When the sunlight strikes the water, the wavelength is absorbed and blue wavelength is scattered, making the ocean blue. Now, option Q. However, in the case of the Atlantic Ocean, the decaying plants on the ocean bed releases yellow pigments that dissolve in water. The color of the water depends on the light scattered substances dissolved in it. Now, what will be the continuity? Now, you will not take however as the continuity of it, or you obviously will not make use of this however as the introductory line. So, there is no chance that you can really think about it as the introductory line. Now, it will come, however, it will come. So, what is that? When sunlight strikes the water, the red wavelength is absorbed, and now you are explaining the process of it. Here, in the first case, you started off with the subject. The color of it is due to something, and now it is explaining the process. When sunlight strikes the water, the red wavelength is absorbed and blue wavelength is scattered. Now, it is possible that this can be the continuation of it. And however, in the case of Atlantic Ocean, the decaying plants on the ocean bed release yellow pigments that dissolve in water. Okay, so, and you can really end with this Q. The color of the water depends on light. Actually, this is also part of it, but this will be the additional sentence you can take. Now, what are the options given? PQ, QR, RQ, and QP. And obviously, you can go with the option A. Okay, so that is which says, as we have discussed, P and Q. You are talking about the process here. See, you started with the the idea saying that the color of this is something due to absorption, and in the continuation you said when this happens, when the sunlight strikes water, it will be absorbed. However, you remember this connective, however, is used in this, taking this U-turn. It's like, you take the entire, you take the route completely different, right? It is the diversion altogether. Till there you explain the process. However, even though it is a process, in the case of Atlantic Ocean, these plants, okay, which are decaying, the one which are extinguishing, releases yellow. It is just opposite of it. So this is one exception you can really accept, right? So P and Q can be the options. Next, again, error identification. What is wrong there? The soldiers, in an attempt of showing their loyalty towards the king, fought ruthlessly until the end of war. Now, what is this? There is some problem with the sentence here. Okay, error correction. The soldiers, in an attempt of showing their loyalty, the soldiers, they did something, and in that process, in which process? Attempt of showing their loyalty and dedication, sincerity. Who? Towards which person? King. They fought for that reason, because they have so much of respect for that loyalty for the king. What did they do? They fought ruthlessly, without giving up, without mercilessly, without stepping back. This is the sense. Now, what is so wrong? No error. Does this sentence is perfect? No. Is that perfect? No. Fought ruthlessly until the end of the war. What is that? Like ruthlessly, continuously, without giving back until the end of war. Next, the soldiers, in an attempt of showing. The soldiers, in an attempt. Now, what is the problem? Their option D, their loyalty towards their king is a big, yes, obviously they have their loyalty toward, when they have so much of respect and the sort of faithfulness, obviously they show that sort of respect. But here the problem here, the idea is correct here in D. Whereas C, you take a look at it, usually you use attempt to do something. She attempts to pass. She attempts to do some work. Attempts to, you don't say attempt of, it's not like a confident of, but you attempt to, not of. So this preposition of should be eliminated. Generally, these words, attempt, because attempt, in order to do this, attempt for what? She wants to show, they want to show some respect or some kind of caliber that they want to display. So in an attempt to perform that particular thing, they have to do this attempt. So that is a sense. You cannot take the preposition off. So problem C, the problem or the sentence C has that error, and you will not take that as the right one, but it has some problem. Next question. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. The world for the vaccines eagerly before they were launched last month. The world, what is that word? For the vaccines eagerly before they were launched last month. The world have been waiting, or the world was waiting for the vaccine eagerly. The world has been waiting, or the world had been waiting for the vaccines. Now we should understand always subject and verb agreement. Now if the subject is singular, obviously if this is singular, you have to take singular verb but not the plural verb, right? So if singular verb, if that is subject is plural, you can take this plural verb. For example, Raju has come to class. Raju has been crying since 8 o'clock. Raju has been crying since 8 o'clock. When I say has been, here the subject is singular. So has been will be there. For example, students. When I say the students of that class have been crying. When I say have been crying, I say have because the students here is plural, and that is why I take this plural verb have but not has. So many this is a common actually error. Many questions are based on this because they are not sure with the subject and verb agreement. So you cannot take a plural verb for the singular subject, right? So here what is it? The world can be treated as singular. Now obviously has will come. Now has been waiting. Okay, so now the half of your problem is solved. Whether to decide on have or has. Yes, you decided on has because you treat that as singular. Now the question is whether it is had or has. Now whether it is past or perfect tense. In which tense do you use? Now the world for the vaccine. For example, if you say the world has been waiting for the vaccines eagerly before they launched. Now this is past actually. Before they were launched last means already happened. When two things are reported, okay, at the same time, and one thing happened just before the other before the other work that's been established, you can take this, okay, so you can take this past perfect or perfect continuous tense. You can use this had been waiting. Yes, you can also say the world has been waiting since many years, but that you're not reporting two past events in that action. So when two past things happen and one thing, for example, the girl had been waiting for her friend, and her friend came. So the girl had been waiting. Yes, it was past, and before her friend came, even friend came also is in past. So this is in past and this is in past. Now two things happen in past, and two things happen in the past. The first action will be will be taken as a past perfect continuous tense. So had been waiting, right? And this is also another common question that will be asked every time. That's been asked in many exams for many years, right? Read the following passage and fill in the blank by selecting the most appropriate option. Now look at the paragraph and try to fill in the options from the given options. Right? Did you know that most of the mothers in the animal kingdom feed on their newborns? So this is the question. Did you know that most of the mothers in the animal kingdom, feed, rely, depend on their newborns? It is a bit difficult to hear. It comes as for many humans who have always overlaid the role of a mother. Now, the animal kingdom, especially the species of the lower strata, okay, section, like a section or category or the position or the class, lower strata, especially like reptiles and insects, lack emotions like mammals. Now, what are the options given? 1. Shock. 2. Revelation. C. Miracle. 4. That is D. Marvel. Now you take a close look at shock everywhere. Now you have to understand, shocking. It is not very comfortable, and it comes with little kind of like a difficult feeling, and it is a little fearful at the same time. Shocking. It is it is sudden thing. But do you really use this word to be the first option? No, because it comes as a shock for many. You will understand whether to take this option as the ultimate one after understanding the answers or the options given. Right? Try to understand, look at the other options, and then decide on the first option if you think this is very near. It's not wrong in meaning. It can come as a shock, but let us see whether other words also mean the same. Next, revelation. What is the meaning of the word revelation? Revelations. Oh, I got this revelation after going through this experience. Revelation. You are brought to this realization. Okay, you're convicted. So that's the sense. You're convicted. You're enlightened, you're educated, you're ignited. So that is the sense. So it comes as a shock, it comes as a revelation, which is more. Revelation is a little higher than that. Now, miracle. It comes as a miracle. It is like, some kind of magic. You think miracle is sort of magic, you think it is very near. It's like you think that is impossible, but still it happened. So that can be a miracle. But here, this is not the context. All human beings feel that as a shock, but not as a miracle. Right? Shocking is very rare, but let us decide it after understanding the option 4. D. Marvel. What is this marvel? Marvel, yes, it is beyond this kind of shock. It is a mix of both. Shock, surprise. Okay, you get surprised, you get astonishment. It's complete, you're so puzzled. You are so completely more than a shock. So this word marvel can be the suitable one. If this word marvel is not there, then you can go with the option C. But because marvel works or functions beyond the meaning of this shocking or the word shock, you can go with this marvel. Next question. Next blank. Now you see it comes as a marvel for many humans. Shock is also possible, but in case marvel is not given. Who have always overly glorified, overly amplified, personified, and characterized. Now, what is the meaning of glorified? Glorification, glorify someone. Okay, what is the meaning of the word glorified? Glorification. Glorify means you make it more greater. There is no other adjective you can really use it efficiently if you than this word. If you in the context of talking somebody's greatness, and it is ultimate, and it is the peak of everything. It is the apex of everything. So that is why when you feel it is almost at the top level. It is almost on top of everything, at the apex, okay, at the top level. And you see, that is a great test. And when you have that sense, now you will automatically use the word glorified. Now, what is the meaning of the word amplified? You make it more bigger, you make it more larger, right? So that is a sense. Now, do you really think amplified is the appropriate one? For many humans who have always amplified, make it bigger. See, these are students, these are all very near. These are near to the context. But then how do you decide on the appropriate ones? You have to understand every word in its individual or unique sense. Then you have to compare the meaning here, which is more near to the context. Then you can decide it very easily. Now, there is another option left over, personified. Two options left over. Third option is personified. What is this personification? I personify water as a living soul, or living, fountain. When I say and I feel these plants are, are like mother. They are like mothers who give shadow, or who give kind of protection to people. When I say, what is it? I am taking some object. I take object. Okay, or not something very lively. Okay, it is not alive. It's something which is very object, a thing or an object, and I when I figuratively use it. I figuratively, like kind of imagery, I make use of it. I take water, normal water, drinking water, and I say that this is, the source of, it is like a living fountain. When I say it's like a living fountain, source of your life. When I say fountain, I'm talking source of your life. So, or something that exists. So that is, water is a normal word, but I personify. I use it as some kind of image, and I try to compare water with that. So when I take things, objects, and some kind of things which are not alive, which are not lively, then what I'm doing is I'm personifying it, treating it as an example of something. So that is called personification. You have to understand every word very closely so that you will be able to decide on the option. Next, characterized. Characterized means what? You characterize something. For example, it characterizes, it comprises, or it belongs to that one. It possesses. Okay, it possesses. So all these are possible, in meaning with this word, when you use this word. So obviously, glorified can be the right answer. Like here, marble and glorified. That means you make it more bigger. So this is best suited here. It comes as a marvel for many humans who have always eagerly glorified, make more, greater than is needed, right? So that is the sense. Next option. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. Now, what is the most appropriate option? Kamlesh wanted to argue, to rebel, but the fear of Mr. Ratan, his teacher, always stopped him. Kamlesh wanted to argue and to rebel, but the fear of Mr. Who is this? Mr. Ratan, his teacher, always stopped him. This person always wanted to argue, and he had some desire. What's that? And how do you express that desire? It's like, you long for something, you crave for something, you long for a nice companion, you long for your friend, you long for nice cool breeze, like you desire for something. That is the sense. Now, how do you use, in which tense? What is the tense you want to take? Whether to report it in the past, or whether to report it in the present, or whether to report it in the future tense. Now, here it is given, longed. This person wanted to argue and what? Long to rebel, go against, rebelling. Rebel, you are going against someone. You go against someone. But the fear of his teacher always stopped him. Because of that fear, he could not do so. Now, long, he always longed. Now, because you can see the past time here, how do you know wanted? When you see this wanted, it is past time action. But now is it possible to use longed? You may tempted to use this word. But hold on and see the time sense of the other word there. He wanted to argue and is longing. No, present continuous won't be used because it is not present time action. Has longed. Now you have to understand. Has long. Present perfect. Present perfect tense. Do you have to use it? When do you use present perfect tense? Right. You use it when something happened with the immediate past. Okay. She has given just now immediate past. Sudeepthi, or someone has just offered me a cup of tea. When somebody has offered, that means a recent time action. When you're reporting this recent time action, you will use this perfect tense, has offered. But yesterday you offered me a chocolate. I say Mr. A offered me a chocolate. Right? You don't use has offered. Why? This is almost over. The time gap is more. So you don't use has anymore. You simply use the simple past here, offered. So, but has longed. You have to realize has longed again. What is this present perfect tense, right? Present perfect tense is used when you are talking about any recent time action or with immediate past, recent time action. Hold on, there is one more exception for this. When do you use? When you understand some action has happened in the past, but that continued for some time, frequently or recurrently, time and again it has happened, you can use has present perfect, has longed. Here, long's D option is wrong because it is again in simple present. He longs to do it. Okay, he likes to do it. It is simple present tense. Because the action is in past, you cannot use simple present tense either. Now, what is more possible? Present perfect, because the word here, see, always stopped him. This will motivate us to select the form present perfect tense. Why not? Now you have a question. Why not longed? Because it is in the past action. Yes, it is possible, but when two things happened and you feel one action has been repeated, and then you can go with this present perfect instead of going. You can also use two simple past words. That is possible, but here this is more preferable because you understand the action happened for some time. So that is why it will be chosen as the right answer. Next question. Rather than stones on the madman, people should be with him and providing him with the appropriate treatment. Rather than what? Pelting stones on the madman, people should be sympathized and providing him with the appropriate treatment. Now, do you go with the option? Now, you understand this is something related to gerund. Right? Now you should know what is this gerund. You can understand the form, right? This is a clue. Now let us come back to that later and we'll go with the option B, pelting. Rather than pelting stones on the madman, what is the meaning of the word pelting? You throw stones at someone, you pelt. That means like you threw something. Okay, so that is what. So, through something rather than pelting, rather than throwing, that is the sense. Okay, pelted, through, pelting rather than throwing something, stones on the madman. People should be what? They should be sympathized with him or sympathizing. Now, what is wrong here? Now, whether to take ed, pelted past, simple past, and sympathized, or this is present one, present, simple present. Pelt, you don't pelt. Okay, she doesn't want to pelt stones. Okay, she doesn't want to throw. And sympathize, simple. She pelted stones. She threw stones and sympathized. But here, this is past and this is, you can say ing here. And here, pelting. Now, I'll reveal this to you what kind of, word you can really choose it a little later. But understand ing form here. Now, you will not say rather than pelted stones on that. You understand the continuity of something. Now, because I mentioned continuity, it doesn't mean that you will use continuous tense here. Now, in English, you have a grammatical aspect, a grammar concept that is called gerund. Gerund means it's a kind of verbal noun. In structure, it looks like a verb, but in performance, it acts as a noun. Though it takes the form of a verb, but in reality, it acts as a noun or nouns. So you have to say, and what is the structure of gerund? Just like, she likes enjoying the game. She likes enjoying the game more than anything. When I say she likes enjoying the game more than anything, here, this enjoying is a gerund form. So you cannot take that as present continuous, though it has ing there. So it is a verbal noun. It acts as a noun, though it has the form of the verb structure. Right? So now if you know the structure of this gerund, you will always find ing. She likes enjoying. She likes watching. She likes singing. She likes playing. So all these words are the examples of gerund. Right? Now take this as the model and now understand the reason. Rather than pelting stones on the madman, people should be sympathizing with him and providing him with the appropriate treatment. So option B is possible. Sometimes the question may have may have any wrong inaccurate answer, but usually this is the answer. Next question. Again, you have to bridge in the gap for 4-sentence paragraph. S1 and S4 are given. S2, S3 are not given. What's that? In the early years, where long trade voyages were undertaken, that would take months or maybe even a year to reach the destination. Coconuts were granted a special place. In the early years, where long trade voyages were undertaken, long journeys, you were on long journeys in the olden time, they would take months, more than days, or maybe even a year. It can be extended up to a year. You can really think about it. To reach the destination, to reach your final destination point. Coconuts were here, given a special place. Now, you must be thinking the subject is very grand here because you are talking about voyages and taking time to reach the destination. But let me say that the subject here is not about the voyages, but you can see it's a petty word that's been concept used. But then the theme of this paragraph lies here. Coconuts were granted a special place. Punctuation plays a major role in any paragraph or in any writer. Now, look at the options. S4 ends with this. The paragraph ends with this S4. Its popularity has recently increased, although they were run in tropical regions for more than 4,500 years. Its popularity has recently. What is that popularity? We'll be able to understand once we understand the sequence of it. By and large, options given. By and large, the coconut water was drunk and pulp eaten, the flesh inside. Okay, the pulp inside the coconut. That's what the point is about. The best part of this fruit was that there were no chances of going back. The best part of this fruit, coconut fruit, was that it will not stay. So that is it. Thirdly, the voyages were rife with the difficulties and hardships. rife with difficulties means, just to continue to sail, to continue or to have voyages, it was very difficult. It's because of many hardships. Now, what is possible? RQ options given, PQ, QP, RP. Now, the possibilities, now we have to find the continuity. Coconuts were granted a special place. Now find the keyword which will connect it to the earlier sentence. By and large, the coconut was drunk and palpitant. When you talk about the coconut here, now you will continue with the information about this coconut. Now, what happened to this and what is this coconut? The coconut water was drunk and it was eaten. Now, the process of it. This coconut, and it was given a special place, and now people used to eat this. The best of it was, now we are talking about the quality of something. The best part of the food was that it wouldn't go stale. So that is the sense created. You are talking about something rose. There's a flower. Example. I'm giving you the example. Apply it here. This flower. And now the flower is very beautiful. And the rose is in which color? It is in pink color, red color, yellow color. And now the uses of or the smell of rose can be taken or can be used for making perfumes. Now you understand the sequence? You introduce something and then you talk about the quality, you describe it, and then you describe the uses, function of it, and then you conclude it. In the same way, you said there used to be many long voyages and those voyages used to be very difficult. And coconut was given a special place. And what happened? People used to have these coconuts. And then the best part of the coconut was it wouldn't go stale. So that is a sequence. So you can take P and Q as the right option, right? So with these questions, we will end our session here. I want you to practice. I want you to go back to the question and understand what is the grammatical structure. What all we have done is we talked about the subject-verb agreement. We talked about prepositions, okay, whether to use on or an or on or at or in. We talked about this gerund uses or the structure of gerund, and then we talked about the scrambled or jumbled paragraphs, right? So these are highlighted. These are very demanding concepts for your TCS verbal ability exams. So exam. Next time when we meet for another session, we will discuss and practice some more questions. The more you practice, the less you make mistakes. With that, I end my session here. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.